The frost performed its secret ministry, unhelped by any wind. The owlet's cry came loud, and hark! Again! Loud as before. The inmates of my cottage, all at rest, have left me to that solitude which suits abstruse musings, save that at my side my cradled infant slumbers peacefully. 'Tis calm indeed, so calm that it disturbs and vexes meditation with its strange and extreme silentness. Sea, hill, and wood. This populous village, sea and hill and wood, with all the numberless goings-on of life, inaudible as dreams, the thin blue flame lies on my low burnt fire, and quivers not. Only that film which fluttered on the grate still flutters there, the sole unquiet thing. Methinks its motion in this hush of nature gives it dim sympathies with me who live, making it a companionable form, whose puny flaps and freaks the idling spirit by its own moods interprets, everywhere echo or mirror seeking of itself, and makes a toy of thought.
Welcome to an analysis of Frost at Midnight, a poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As the frost performs its secret ministry in the windless night, like a secret service assigned by nature, an owlet's cry twice pierces the silence. The inmates of the speaker's cottage are fast asleep, and the speaker sits alone, except for the cradled infant sleeping by his side. The calm is so total that the silence becomes distracting due to how strange and extreme the night atmosphere was. And the sea, the hill, the wood, and the village of countless activities of human life are as silent as dreams. Even the thin blue flame seems to be asleep, and still on its slowly dying fire. Only the film, made of soot, on the grate still flutters. This movement seems companionable to the poet because it is the only thing making sound, just like how the poet is the only one awake. The fluttering film also sympathizes with the poet, as they both have an idling spirit.
But oh, how oft at school, with most believing mind, presageful, have I gazed upon the bars, to watch that fluttering stranger, and as oft, with unclosed lids, already had I dreamt of my sweet birthplace, and the old church tower, whose bells, the poor man's only music, rang from morn to evening, all the hot fair day, so sweetly that they stirred and haunted me with a wild pleasure, falling on mine ear most like articulate sounds of things to come. So gazed I till the soothing things I dreamt lulled me to sleep, and sleep prolonged my dreams. And so I brooded all the following morn, awed by the stern preceptor's face, mine eye fixed with mock study on my swimming book, save if the door half opened, and I snatched a hasty glance, and still my heart leaped up, for still I hoped to see the stranger's face, townsman or aunt or sister more beloved, my playmate when we both were clothed alike.
In the following stanza, the speaker travels back to his past, and the thoughts of the past are stirred by associations of that fluttering stranger on the bars of his school window. He also often daydreamed about his birthplace and the church tower, whose bells rang so sweetly on fair day. The bell was called poor man's music because the sound it made was free. These things lured him to sleep in his childhood, and he brooded on them in school, being afraid of the stern schoolmaster and only pretending to look at his books. If the door opened, he would look up eagerly, hoping to see the townsman or aunt or sister more beloved, his playmate when they were both clothed alike, basically having any hopes of seeing a visitor. He shows nostalgia for the good old days before school, when he was still dressed the same as his sister, and could experience life in a more unified way.
Dear babe, that sleepest cradled by my side, whose gentle breathings, heard in this deep calm, fill up the interspersed vacancies and momentary pauses of the thought. My babe so beautiful, it thrills my heart with tender gladness, thus to look at thee, and think that thou shalt learn far other lore, and in far other scenes, for I was reared in the great city, pent mid cloisters dim, and saw not lovely but the sky and stars. But thou, my babe, shalt wander like a breeze by lakes and sandy shores, beneath the crags of ancient mountain, and beneath the clouds, which image in their bulk both lakes and shores and mountain crags. So shalt thou see and hear the lovely shapes and sounds intelligible of that eternal language, which thy God utters, who from eternity doth teach himself in all, and all things in himself. Great universal teacher, he shall mold thy spirit, and by giving make it ask.
Addressing the dear babe that sleeps cradled by his side, whose breath fills the silences in his thought, the speaker says that it thrills his heart to look at his beautiful child. He thinks about himself being raised in the great city pen, mid cloisters lit, and seeing nothing beautiful but the sky and stars. He was confined in urban school and could not feel the freedom in nature. However, his child will wander in the rural countryside, by lakes and shores and mountains. His child shall see the lovely shapes and hear the intelligible sounds of nature's eternal language uttered by God. God shall mold the child's spirit through his influences. He feels that the child should experience the wonders of nature without disruptions from a bustling city life like he did. His beloved son would have the freedom to do anything he pleases, being held back by nothing but himself. Furthermore, the poet says that the clouds in the sky mirror the shapes on things on earth, just like how he feels that God is reflected in nature.
Therefore all seasons shall be sweet to thee, whether the summer clothe the general earth with greenness, or the red breast sit and sing betwixt the tufts of snow on the bare branch of mossy apple tree, or the night thatch smokes in the sun thaw, whether the eavesdrops fall heard only in the trances of the blast, or if the secret ministry of frost shall hang them up in silent icicles, quietly shining to the quiet moon.
All seasons, the speaker proclaims, shall be sweet to his child, whether the summer makes the earth green, or the robin redbreast sings between tufts of snow on the branch, whether the storm makes the eavesdrops fall, or the frost's secret ministry silently hangs the eavesdrops as icicles, quietly shining to the quiet moon. The frost is revealed as one of God's ministers, performing secret work, reflecting the moonlight to the moon. Just as how he feels, he should use his poems to reflect the divine truths of nature to God. The poet will not let anything except nature and all its elements influence his son. From this, his son will develop love and respect for nature and all its seasons and characteristics.
Samuel Taylor Coleridge highlights key ideas of Romanticism and relies on a highly personal idiom whereby the reader follows the natural progression of the speaker's mind as he sits up late one winter night thinking. His language creates a sense of emergency and immediacy, catching the reader's attention. An example would be, "But oh, hark!" Furthermore, he sees the connection between childhood and nature of one that is precious and should be treasured, something he heavily desires for his child. The key themes in this poem are nature's relationship with childhood, the beauty of nature, and the divine God.